Hello guys, welcome and welcome back to my channel. My name is Thlologelo Rampa and this is Relocate to Australia with Promise. Guys, I want to just get straight into today's business. But before I continue with that, don't forget to like, comment and subscribe to this channel if you're looking for information on how you can relocate to Australia or anywhere else in this world. Not forgetting that this is your #1 DIY relocation platform, meaning that you can relocate wherever you want to go without the help or the use of an agent, because you've got all the information you need to relocate in the palm of your hands, in the comfort of your own home, and you can literally do this for as long as you've got the resources, the brain, the will, and the power. You can do it. Anyways, you guys, today I'm going to be talking about relocating without the support of your family, as you have seen in my title. The reason why I want to have this discussion, I know it is a predicament for a lot of people. Reason being, we are human beings, guys. We do not fall off from a tree. We've got families. These are the people that have birthed us and they have raised us and they love us. And I know 100% it is going to be very difficult for you to leave everything behind for you to start a new life. So I want to have this discussion just in case there is somebody that is struggling with this, okay? The decision to relocate is not an easy one. It is not easy. It is very difficult. But nobody said you are going to come to this earth to live and it's going to be easy. If there's anyone who ever told you that you're going to come to planet Earth and it's going to be easy, go get your refund. They were lying. It is not true. It is difficult living. Living is hard. It is very difficult because there's so many decisions that need to be made. There's so many changes. There's so many but from them there are challenges. Life is so challenging. But you have to understand that that is the contract that you signed when you were born. Your cards were laid out for you and you picked whatever you picked. I don't know how, because we don't decide to be born. I mean, you just wake up one day and you are here and you're like, how did I even get here? Now I have to pay bills and do this whole adulting thing. I have to go to school. I need to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I didn't sign up for this thing. But guess what? You probably did. Just that you were not aware. So the issue of being a human being and having a family is a very tricky one, you guys. When you were born, obviously you were born into a family, and regardless of what your family structure might have been, whether it was a mom and a dad, dad and a dad, a mom and a mom, or a single mom, single dad, whatever the situation was, you were born in a family. One thing that I have come to understand is that yes, fine, you might have been born from your family, but you do not belong to your family. You belong to the universe, you belong to the earth, you belong to the world. And you need to serve your God, your ancestors, whoever you're speaking to. You need to serve yourself, you need to serve your family, your children, you need to serve your generation, you need to serve your community and the world that you are occupying, okay? I always believe that when you are born, and I believe you guys have also heard this all over the show where they say, when you're born carrying your gifts and your talent, and you have to come here to live them out. We have to watch you live out your talent and potential, and that will make our lives meaningful, watching you live out your purpose. As a woman, being raised in these societal structures that we have been raised in, it has always been instilled in us that one day you're going to get married and you're going to leave your mother and your father to join your husband, and you always go to your husband's side of the family because of wara. But we always know that we have to leave our families. And as women, I don't know for other people, maybe it becomes easy for us to leave our families to go join somebody else's family and then be one with them. As a man, you don't really have to. You still have your surname, you're still living with your family. Some men still continue to live with their families even after they've married, so they wouldn't have to adjust as much as women would in society. One thing that I know is that when you join your partner, your husband, your wife, whoever that you're going to be marrying, you now start your own family, meaning that that is going to be your priority. It doesn't mean that now you have abandoned or you don't belong in your family anymore. It just means that, as the Bible has said, you shall leave your mother and father. The Bible says so. So now you leave your mom and dad to become mom and dad for somebody. And even if it's mom and dad, but you leave your family to become one, and now you have your own family to protect and provide for. You know, guys, relationships are very hard to navigate. Of course, they're going to be very difficult because we are human beings going through a human experience. It is bound to be like that, veil. But sometimes you need to understand that you're going to make decisions that other people are not going to be happy about. You know, when I came to Australia, my grandmother really struggled with that decision because she felt like, oh my God, I'm never going to see you again. And of course, she was right. But a couple of days before I left, I remember we had this conversation and she said to me, you know, I have to accept that you are leaving because you married this man. My husband is not from Siyabuswa. He's from Taung. So Taung is in the northwest. So my grandmother said to me, I had to accept that you have to leave because here you are, you married this man who is from like who is from another part of the country, and I had to accept that one day you would have to leave. I just did not think that you were going to leave going abroad. So it was very difficult for her. And when I came to Australia, she did not speak to me for about like 4 or 5 months. And I'd continue trying to call her and she did not want to speak to me at all. Until this one day, I called my mom and my mom was with her. And I spoke to her on the phone and she said, you know what, Thlologelo ke fodile, meaning that now I'm okay, like I've healed, I've accepted that you are not here anymore. But you can just imagine how difficult it was for her to process that, oh my God, my child is so far away. It's not like you're just in Cape Town or Durban and you can just come home at any point in time. As a young person relocating, you might find that your family is going to struggle to accept. And there are some parents who are going to be like, no, child, go out there, show them what you've got. But there are some parents who are really going to struggle. But what I've also found is that there are some young people who think their family is going to struggle or their parents are going to struggle to accept that they're leaving, only to find that your family is very accepting of this news and it is something that they would have also wanted for you. Separating from family really depends on your family structure and the bond and whatever your situation is with your family. There are some people who do not have family and it is so unfortunate and so sad, but the gift that comes with that is they do not have that baggage and they do not have that burden. They will not have to consult with family or worry about hurting family should they decide to relocate. Sometimes you find people who have family but they do not have that strong bond with their family members where they can spend months or go months without seeing their family or even speaking to their family. With those kind of people, yes, it will also be easy for you to relocate because you don't need to worry about them. What I've also found is that some people wait for their parents to pass away first before they relocate because they're like, no, I want to be with my parents and I want to be close to my parents until they leave and then I'll go and I'll do whatever. I literally do not know and I will never understand how people come to that conclusion because I don't relate to my parents like that. So I will never understand that me as Promise. But there are some people who they just want to be with their family and they are unable to do certain things until, you know, a certain stage or a certain phase in life has occurred and then they can, I don't know, feel free enough to do something. I remember I had this conversation with this guy who said, you know, I'm so glad that both my mom and dad have passed away. Now there's nothing that is holding me back. There's no reason for me to go back to South Africa because they would have been the reason why I would have wanted to be up and down home and wherever they were living. And I was like, oh my God, so your parents had you in such a situation. That is so horrible. There are some people today who are like, I am not going nowhere because my parents are still here, my parents are still alive. And I'm like to myself, what if your parents outlive you? What are you going to do? You'll be dead anyway, but then still, I don't know. I never understand that concept. But there are really some people who cannot leave their loved ones. They're like, no, I am not going to leave my loved ones. I can't do that. And that is absolutely okay. There's no problem with that. There are some people who really want to relocate and they want to leave, but their family is totally against it. I will tell you this one story. There's this one friend of mine back home. He explained to me, no, I was not even told by him, I was told by his cousin. So this cousin was explaining to me that, okay, fine, this guy, as you see him, his mom, I think it was his mom. Yes, it was his mom. His mom was a social worker. His dad was a teacher. So mom got an opportunity to relocate. I think it was Australia or New Zealand. I don't remember. But she had an opportunity to relocate. So everything was done for her. I think she had a sponsored visa where they were going to pay for her flight. She had a job ready, set for her. Everything was set and done for her, right? And she wanted to relocate with her husband and children. Unfortunately, her husband did not want to leave. So what happened was this husband was like, you are not going anywhere. You're going to stay behind. You're going to stay here in South Africa with us. So it got to a point where family had to be involved. So this man called a meeting with the family. And then I think it was both sides. I don't even remember. So both sides of the family decided, no, she's not going nowhere. She's staying behind here. They even cut her passport in pieces because they were like, nope, you are not going nowhere. So obviously she couldn't relocate. She stayed back in South Africa. Fast forward 20 years later, they are divorced. This guy is living his best life. Here you were, you made a sacrifice for family and this man, and now that same marriage that had stopped you from realizing your dream and living abroad has even ended. And I was like, you see, now this is nonsense. And you find that now you're older and you've moved on from that part of your life, and now relocating maybe it is not something that you can do because of your age or many other factors. So you don't want to find yourself in a similar situation where family is going to be that thing that stops you or blocks you from relocating. What they did to that woman was not right. I don't even think it was constitutional. Was it constitutional? But anyway, the constitution doesn't care that far about women. But for me, if it was me and I was promised, I was going to beat the shit out of everybody. I'm joking. It was obviously a sad situation, and I'm hoping people are not doing that now in 2022 because you have to move with the times. But in all honesty, that was destroying somebody's life. You can't do that to a person and sleep peacefully at night. But you know, with these African families, African families will show you flames. Anyways, you guys, it does happen where you want to leave or you want a life that is outside of your home country and you are not at all receiving the support of your family. What should you do? My advice, hambubashiye, go, leave them. They will come to terms with it. And if they really do love you, they will forgive you. And if they don't forgive you, maybe they were not meant to be in your life there. Because sometimes you find yourself in a family and you're like, you gave me this one, God. You literally gave me these people to be my relatives. Serious, because you don't have a choice. And I mean, if you had a choice, you would want to choose like Mutsepe's family, the Kardashians' family, Elon Musk's family, Papara. You are here. And you have to deal with them every day of your life. So there are some families who are not supportive and some families who will be actively not supportive, meaning that they will go all out to make sure that you don't go nowhere. If you know that you come from such a family, protect your dream, meaning that do everything and move in silence. And if it means you telling them a day before you bought the plane, do it. I'm the kind of person where I want something, I want it, and there's no one who's going to talk me out of it. For me, I told my family from day one. When I made that decision, my husband kept on saying, no, don't tell them, because he knew that they were going to discourage me. And yes, I did have family members who were like, no, don't leave, don't go, stay here with us. And I was not going to be any good staying with them. I was at home, unemployed, depressed, stressed, no good to myself and no good to them. Sometimes you leaving your family is the best thing that could have ever happened to you and them. Staying in the same environment with the same people, gossiping about the same thing every day. There's no movement, there's no change, there's nothing exciting happening, there's nothing boring. Everything is just the same. Hi, Shem. That can't be life. So for me, I told my family from the very beginning. My dad was not supportive of it. My mom was not supportive of it. Like literally, there was no one who was saying to me, girl, go do this. But I was like, I'm leaving anyway. I don't care what you say. I'm going. I am gone. Consider me gone. Cancel me in the books. If you're having weddings, parties, funerals, whatever, mark me absent. Mark me absent. I won't be there. I'll be gone. With my husband, he didn't tell any of his family members that he was leaving, going to Australia or planning to relocate for the 2 years that we were planning to relocate. The way that man was so sneaky, he told them in December and we were leaving in January. Imagine. He told them in December around Christmas time that, hey, Bafetu, now I'm leaving. I'm like, Lindsay, you're so wrong. But then again, it depends on the kind of family that you come from and how you were raised. With my husband, he went to boarding school from a very young age. After boarding school, he went to university. After university, he left his hometown and was living in Siyabuswa. So he's been far away from family all these years. So I think he's used to being without his family and being out on his own. So it was not so much of an adjustment. Unlike me, where I was raised in the village, I was with my family until I went to university and then I got married, but still, like, my family was always just hovering around me. And for the both of us, we are the very first to leave our families coming to Australia. So yes, it was very difficult for them. But guys, this is the thing again. You need to understand that sacrifices need to be made more likely. Now that me and my husband are married, we need to now think for our children. And the decisions that we make are not only just for us, but for our children. So if we feel that no, the life that we are living in South Africa is not the life that we want for our children, we literally had to be selfish in that decision. It is very hard for family to accept, yes, but the worst thing that you can do as a family is to not support your loved one and have them leave. How do I say this in English? And have them leave with a broken heart. Yes, and have them leave with a broken heart and feeling like they did you wrong and did you dirty. I mean, you've got your life to live. Why are you worried about the next person? Yes, they are your family, they love you, yes, but you have to set them free. Let them go. And understand that we were born alone and we are going to die alone. Even if we die together in the same situation, we are going to be buried alone just as we came alone. And relocating these days is not like the time when Jan van Riebeck left his people coming to South Africa, where you don't even know where the person went and if they're ever going to come back home. With us now, things are different. We're literally a phone call away from our loved ones. And one thing that COVID has taught us is that we can be anywhere in this world at any point in time from the comfort of your own home. Everything is a video call away. You can always arrange for those things to be done. Everything is a video call away. We can always share what is going on with our lives. Communication is much more easier. So yes, relocating without your family support can be hard. It can be very difficult. But one thing that I know is that they will get used to it. And for people who are afraid to relocate because they're worried that what if I relocate and then my mom dies or my dad dies or whoever dies, they were going to die even if you were back home. So forgive yourself for the decisions that you have made, because it might so happen that they might outlive you. And then what happens after that? You need to make what you feel is the best decision for your life. And even if the next person is not okay with it and they're not understanding of it, it is unfortunate and it is sad, but hopefully it is something that you guys can have a conversation with your loved ones to say, it is okay, I'm fine, and I'm hoping that you are also going to be okay. There's some people who find themselves in a situation where you will need your family support to relocate. For example, you are maybe single. Let's say you're single and it so happens that you've got children or you've got a child and you can't relocate with that child, and you will need family members to take care of your child in order for you to go, and then you come back to take your child, or whatever the situation is. If you find yourself in that situation and your family is not supporting you, you will have to look for other alternatives. But one thing that you should not do is to be resentful and angry at your family members for the decisions that they have made and how difficult they have made this experience for you. You need to always forgive them, because at the end of the day, you still need to keep connected with your family, especially for your children, because that is part of their lineage, that is part of who they are and their identity, and you cannot ever run away from that. Relocating is not an easy thing, you guys, and it is not something that some families accept easily. You just need to assess your situation to see if, okay, if I tell my family, will this dream still be protected? Will they support it, and how will they receive it? And if you feel that, no, you know what, if I tell my family, hi Shem, it will be the end of this dream, maybe you need to protect it more and keep it a secret until it is that time of no return where, hi Shem, now you have to go, there's no way. There's some people who would have to make this selfish decision, and even if it is selfish, I always feel it is selfful, because you are serving yourself. Sometimes you come from very poverty-stricken background, or sometimes we find that our family needs this generational shift where things have been happening the same way all the time. Every day we are in the same cycle of poverty, and there's this one person who decides, you know what, not with me, not with my children, it is not going to happen. And you sometimes making that decision to relocate will be that one thing that turns the home situation around, turns the home, yes, it will be that thing that it brings the change in the family. Because if you're a person who believes and understands that black text, as much as people say, hey, black text is a horrible thing, hey, don't be chained by black text, there are some people who do not have a choice. Black text is a thing and it is a reality. Yes, you have to take care of yourself and you have to make sure that your cup overflows so that you can give to others. But sometimes you will have to take from your cup in order to fill your siblings' cup or your family members' cup and get them out of the situations that they're in. Obviously, with the strength of the dollar, when you send money back home, the money can do a lot more things than if you had decided to work at home and earn a living in rands. Sometimes it is harder for you to get out of the situations that you're in because the money is not enough. So even if you don't want to relocate forever, consider at least relocating for about 4 or 5 years, 10 years, however many years you might feel comfortable with, and save your money in whichever country you would find yourself. Save that money, and then when you go back home and you convert the money, it is good money and it is money that is going to change your home situation. And if you find yourself in a situation where your family is not supporting your relocation dream, have a sit down with the important people in your family and have that discussion with them to say why, what is going on, and explain to them what your vision is, and hopefully they will be able to understand. Relocating will change your life. Relocating will change the lives of your family members, because you will be able to financially support them as much as you would love to, or even more. And it is not only just about money, but also your advancement as a human being and your knowledge, and you expanding your networks, and you getting to experience a world out there that is very much different to the world that you come from. So there's so many benefits that come with you relocating, and the next person might not understand. There's one thing that I will tell you. You know, when God speaks to you and your ancestors speak to you, sometimes they are having those conversations with you knowing that you have the ability to carry it through. They did not have that conversation with your mother, your uncle, your aunt, or whoever, because they had different plans for them. So you need to trust the voices that speak to you. You need to trust the good voice that speaks to you. You need to trust the gifts and the blessings that you were born with. And you need to understand that God will not lead you somewhere to just leave you there. There are some things that will come to you and there will be a heavy burden, and they will need for you to shift things around in your life. But understand that everything happens for a reason. You might never understand why there's this loud voice inside of you telling you, go, leave that country, go here, do this, contact this person. You might have no idea why that is happening at this point in time and why you are being called to do this. But understand that if there is that loud calling inside of you telling you to do this, the next person will not understand it, because that is not their assignment, it is yours. People might not be happy and people will not support you because they do not hear the voices that you hear. And do not allow these outside voices to drag you down and to stop you and hinder you from getting into your blessings, okay? Sometimes people do not want to let go of their loved ones because of the fear of the unknown. And sometimes they're doing it trying to protect you from what they think is a wrong decision. You never really know. And sometimes you find that their reasoning is something totally based on fear, the fear that they have for your life. So you just need to assure your family to say, you know what, I think I know what I'm doing. Anyways, you guys, I need to go now. I'm hoping that you guys, yes, Emanyana, babe. Okay, let me finish. Say bye-bye. See you again.
Bye-bye. See you again
in our next upload. Okay guys, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you again in my next upload.